I mean, my quarantine experience has just been a little. So it started. We got back from LA, right? Finishing the project. Everything's like kind of done, all masters and all that shit. And then I had a video to shoot the week after I got back from LA, and the quarantine hit. So I got back on a Thursday. The quarantine hit on like a Tuesday. That was really more so like COVID was like in the news and stuff like that, right? It wasn't necessarily quarantine. So we were already in a place of like, damn, I don't know if we're going to be able to do the video, but everybody was still like, all right, we're down, we're powering through it. Cool. So we knocked the video out. We knocked 2 videos out that weekend, 20K and Anisha. So we're good there. And then it was still in the place of like, you know, people were kind of apprehensive. It's like, how serious is this really? You know? So I was still very much like looking towards the idea of putting out the project and going on tour and all of this stuff. But we were also talking about holding off on the project because we were thinking like, all right, cool, the whole COVID thing might last 2 weeks or something like that. So it's like, all right, cool, we'll hold off on the project maybe and then put it out and then we'll go continue on with the regular scheduled program. Then South by South got canceled. And I was like, oh, like, this is like serious. And from that moment, the whole like lockdown started to ensue. And for me, at first, it was kind of like, okay, this is not too big of a deal because it's like I'm in my house a lot anyway, like making music and things like that. So I was at my regular scheduled program, wake up, make some beats, write some raps, whatever it is, like just the regular schedule. And maybe a week after that, it started to affect my friends. And I was getting like the phone calls of like people kind of in the house going wild and things like that. And I was like, whoa, this is a lot. Like that forced me to like start reconnecting with people in a different light and things like that. So I spent a lot of my time doing that in quarantine. And now, I mean, it's kind of like this weird like thing that you're used to. It's just like, all right, cool, you're in the house. But these days I like go on my roof just to break away from being inside sometimes. Like I just go sit on my roof just for the hell of it. But I feel like I'm now at the point where it's like, all right, I'm really over it. Like just being in the house, I'm 1,000% over it. I'm beyond it. I just want to be around people and like hang out with people at this point. Nah, I definitely feel like the quarantine has forced me into growth because like I think that's the biggest thing about this is like being that you're in the crib, you just have more time. Like there's a lot of people that is like, yo, I would do this, but I don't have the time for it. And I think the quarantine kind of puts you in front of your mirror that's like, all right, cool. Now you got all the time in the world. Like it's on you now. So if all those things that you were saying, like, oh, yo, I would do this, I would do that, but I just don't have the time for it. It's now like you got to be faced in the mirror. Like, all right, so is it that you don't have time or you just lazy, you know? And I feel like that has been a thing, me being putting that into perspective, you know. My bad, my phone just rang. Yeah, just putting that into perspective. So just getting things done, like even the cooking show that I put up, not the cooking show, the food series that I started, and I put an episode up yesterday. That was like something, you know, like I've always talked about doing more content online and things like that. So to get into that and actually like, all right, cool, let's jump into it. It's been fun, but it's been a process and, you know, learning about myself in that, you know. So Lab Rat is pretty much like my foundation. That's the collective, that's the family. And it just means learn and become better, receive and think. So the learn and become better part is like every day you're going to learn something, whether it's something that's mundane or something that's complex. But like if we're taking things and we're learning them, and we're never applying them to make ourselves better by it, then it's kind of like there's no real point of learning. Like it's just information that you're not doing anything with. And then receive and think, I feel like is extremely important in this day and age because it's like we get so much information on the daily, like just straight to your phone, you open phone, it's information the second that you open it. And I think a lot of times we get information and we want to be the first to put it back into the world because it's like if I'm the first to break the story, then everybody is going to retweet me or everybody's going to say it came from me. And a lot of times we don't think about what we're actually putting back into the world. Like, does this even make sense? What's the source? Is any of this credible? We're just putting information back into the world. So I think it's important to once you receive information, to think about it before you put it back into the world, because we all got a responsibility to, you know, make sure that we're providing good to society.